The following stories are based on real events and real people. All names have been omitted for privacy reasons. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to share with you 3 stories of people messing around with witchcraft and ending up having their lives completely destroyed by demons. These stories are based on real people, and these were real events that happened to these people, and unfortunately they're suffering the consequences because of the decisions that they made messing around with these spirits. So the first story was with this woman that I knew. She was getting a divorce. She was going through a divorce. Her husband left her and was looking to get married with another woman. So then she got jealous, so she hired a sorcerer to put spells on her ex-husband, put a curse on him. So she hired him. They did the rituals at her house, made offerings, sacrificed, whatever, and then cast a spell on him. So then a few months later, things started going really bad for the family. The daughter started seeing strange things in the house. She started seeing shadow people in the corner of her eyes. She started hearing objects move when no one was around. She started hearing disembodied voices at night. Around this time as well, her son joined a street gang and ended up going to prison for a very long time. And then finally, a few months later, this woman, her house, ended up being a target for a drive-by shooting. So they drove by, they had like a machine gun or whatever, and then pop, 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 completely just shattered glass everywhere, bullets all over the walls. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the mother was home. The trauma that happened that day completely really damaged her, and she's currently now schizophrenic. So she completely lost her mind. And on top of that, the daughter that was seeing the paranormal activity, she ended up running away from home at the age of 16. And since then, she's been living on the streets with random men, and she's currently addicted to drugs, and is dealing with a lot of mental health problems as well. So it's overall, it's just super tragic. Obviously the son going to prison for a long time, the daughter living on the streets, and then the mother losing her mind. This is 100% connected with the sorcerer that came over to the home and did the black magic. That this evil spirit that was invoked not only damaged the husband, did whatever to his life, but also cursed her as well. Cursed all the family members. Okay, so second story. This was a girl that I used to know several years ago. We used to hang out, and when we first started hanging out, she was, a little eccentric, a little different, but she was okay. She was cool. All right, she could say cohesive sentences. She was charming, all that stuff. But I remember vividly that during the era where she was still normal, she was messing around with those tarot cards. And she would do readings with her sister, who was a little bit older than her, but was normal as well. Yeah, she was more than normal. She's very social, had a lot of friends, a lot of men wanted to be with her. Was a social butterfly, I guess you could call her. So they would do readings constantly with each other. And, we kind of lost touch or whatever, but after a couple years we did reconnect. And when I saw her the second time, it was night and day. So she ended up actually shaving off all her hair. She was completely bald and was wearing this wig, a blonde wig, that looked like completely artificial Barbie hair. When she would speak, none of her sentences were cohesive. None of it made sense. It was almost as if, it was literally like different personalities, different entities were trying to speak through her. She was constantly talking to herself, avoided eye contact. It was full-blown schizophrenia. And the crazy part is, it was just so astonishing to see that a girl that was fairly normal completely lose her mind in less than 2 or 3 years. Coincidentally, this was around the time when she first started playing with tarot cards. And not just that, her sister, so her sister, who also was very normal, high social IQ, very beautiful, had a lot of friends, 2 or 3 years later, also suffered from mental illness, lost her mind. Stopped taking care of herself, stopped showering, stopped hanging out with friends, stopped leaving the house. So now both these young ladies went from being normal, functional, beautiful young ladies, full of potential, to now being completely disabled, mentally ill, can't leave the house, can't take care of themselves. 100,000% guys, evil spirits came through when they were doing these readings and now have destroyed their lives. Because you guys are smart. You know how this stuff works. When you mess around with the Ouija boards, with the tarot cards, do astrology every day, numerology, all that stuff, it impacts you. It's very subtle, but it impacts you, and it's a snowball effect. The more often you do these things, the wider and wider that door opens. And then if you repent, it closes. You repent, you apologize to God, He closes that portal, you're all good. But if you keep doing it and doing it and doing it and never repent, it gets so wide, the floodgates open of demons. And that's when you get mental illness, that's when you get tragedies, that's when you get physical illness. So next story, this was a girl that I once knew. She went through a really messy breakup with her boyfriend, and she got into witchcraft. She was introduced to it by, I think it was like her cousin or her sister or something. So at first, she was just doing like the astrology stuff, maybe burning some sage around the house, all that stuff, right? But she started casting spells. So she actually casted a spell on her ex-boyfriend. And it worked. He lost his career, he lost all his money, he lost everything. A few months later, that same year that he lost everything, she went out with her family to some show or whatever, to dinner. And when she came home, her house completely burned down. And firefighters did a full investigation and they didn't know what it was. And this is a known thing, guys. When you do your research about how demons and jinns work, you realize that they can set fires like that. Especially if you anger them, especially if you work with shaitans, the evil jinns, the evil demons, and employ them, they could easily turn their backs on you like that. You know, I'm making this video, guys, because this is a massive problem in today's society. The thing about witchcraft is that it really reels women in, because let's be honest, we're going to be 100% honest here. I might offend some of you women, but it is the truth. For some reason, this seems to really resonate and attract women. In turn, this is what you see in today's society. You see so many women basing their entire spiritual beliefs and practices on, not on God, not on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but on witchcraft. So this is a massive problem in today's society. Witchcraft has grown through the roof. Every other woman and her grandma is leaving the church, leaving the mosque, Islam and Christianity to become witches, to manifest their own destiny. Because witchcraft, the way Satan deceives these women is that he sort of disguises witchcraft as sort of a way for them to empower themselves. It's a rebellious spirit, so instead of submitting to the will of God, these ladies only submit to themselves. And you're going to notice too, when you interact with actual witches, that they'll never listen to you. They'll never listen to men ever, and they won't even listen to other women that are giving them solid advice. It's all about me, 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 me. It's a selfish spirit, selfish evil spirit that they have. Well, they have several spirits that inhabit them once they get really deep into witchcraft. So, and this coincides with the spike in mental illness, guys. It coincides with the spike in mental illness. It coincides with the spike in single women in general. A lot of women are choosing to forego getting married and forego having children and just stay at home. Just stay lonely. And then when they get older, in their 40s, 50s, they regret those decisions. By then it's too late. Because Satan was victorious in deceiving these women to forego what God created them for. To be caring, nurturing mothers for the next generation. And caring, nurturing partners for their husbands. So the thing is, guys, like, witchcraft at first can appear sexy. It's sexy to know the future. It's sexy to manifest your own destiny. To take control of your own destiny as opposed to submit to the will of God and have faith in God. But guess what? This is exactly how the devil gets you. He seduces you with spiritual powers. And once he has you, once you bite that forbidden fruit of knowledge, then it's it. You're damned. God takes away his protection from you and you're leaving yourself exposed. If you're messing around with these things, you gotta stop. You're leaving yourself exposed to very bad things happening to you and your loved ones in your life. If you know anyone that's doing these things, you gotta try to talk to them. If not, stay away from them. Because these demons will affect you as well if you interact with these people many times. All right, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us against being around people that are polytheists and that deal with jinns, partner with the jinns. Last but not least, fellas, always do your research on the ladies that you're dating, that you want to possibly marry. You gotta make sure that you're not messing around with these witches, okay? Because on top of having a soul tie with these women, you're gonna be soul tied with a witch, with a demonic woman. And so bad things are gonna start happening in your life. You're gonna have bad luck. You're gonna have demons messing with you because you opened that door once you slept with her. Okay, and on top of that, let's say you end up dating one of these women. Maybe you don't know any better, you didn't know any better, and things don't work out, which it probably won't. And she gets pissed off. Guess what she's gonna do? She's gonna put a hex on you. And if you're not tied with God, if you don't God's protection, a lot of bad things are gonna happen in your life, and it could possibly cost you your life. I'm willing to bet that 20 to 30% of men end up in the grave because of witches and witchcraft. So we gotta be really careful out here, guys. All right, guys, so be safe out there. Be careful with who you hang around with, because you never know what people are into behind closed doors. And yeah, God bless, take care. Peace.